The pick is in.
The Vikings have made a selection in the 2024 NFL Draft alongside Locked On College Football host Spencer McLaughlin. I'm Tenitra Batiste, and we're joined by Luke Braun of Locked On Vikings to break down the Vikings selecting JJ McCarthy with the number 10 pick. So when you saw that Minnesota was moving up the draft board into that 10th spot where the New York Jets resided, did you think they were going up to get JJ McCarthy?
For sure. Yeah. You wouldn't bother with that if you were taking like Dallas Turner or something, or, some tackle or whatever. But so you knew it was for JJ McCarthy, but my experience was actually, I found out that the Jets were trading the pick before I found out it was to the Vikings. So I was like, oh no, did we get leapfrogged? Because by then I know I'm not a fan of Bo Nix at all. Sorry, Broncos fans. So if it wasn't going to be McCarthy, I was going to start spiraling pretty quick.
And that's funny you mentioned that, Luke, because that was going to be kind of my quick follow-up question about whether or not JJ McCarthy was the right way to go, because some pundits did say, hey, if they moved up, it might have been Bo Nix.
I never really bought that. They've been really high on McCarthy for the whole process. Through the combine, that leaked out a lot. There's been rumors everywhere. It just makes a lot of sense. He's going to kind of go from everybody sees his surroundings at Michigan as good. I think they weren't that good. I think a lot of those players are a little overrated in terms of what they do for the pass game. They were more run players, right? Run blockers, Blake Corum, that kind of thing. Great run game. Now he goes to a team with a good pass game. Bookend tackles, Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, Hawkinson. When he's healthy, he probably will miss a good portion of the first season, but he'll get there eventually. So he's got targets, he's got protection, and he's got a coach that was hired specifically for this, specifically to develop a young QB. This was the plan. This was the vision.
You think the early run on QBs influenced the pick for the Vikings at all?
No. So my understanding is that they tried very hard to trade up with the Patriots, and the Patriots said, nope, we're taking May. And then they basically started watching the board. I'm sure that every single team above them knew, don't take a trade offer without calling the Vikings first. We'll beat it. and everybody stuck and everybody stuck and picked. And that means that the Vikings didn't have to spend nearly as much as I thought they were going to have to.
Exactly. Chalk might have actually helped instead of hurting them. You mentioned Justin Jefferson. So is he maybe confident in, or will he be satisfied with this pick after the Vikings lost Kirk Cousins in the offseason?
He said a lot at Radio Row at the Super Bowl was where he got asked this a lot. And he always said, like, yeah, I'll be me no matter who. Like, we'll make it work no matter who it is. I love Kirk, but it'll work no matter who. And this was before we even knew Kirk Cousins was leaving. I don't think it matters to him very much. I think that's a pretty overrated talking point. But yeah, I think that we got to work on that deep ball a little bit with JJ McCarthy, but having Justin Jefferson to track those down is going to help him a lot.
Absolutely will. For more on the Vikings, subscribe to Locked On Vikings on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. Now, Spencer, it felt like JJ McCarthy made this meteoric rise up the draft board these last few weeks. What about McCarthy made him that much of a hot commodity in the end?
It's his physical traits, Tenitra, the way that he is able to combine being an elite runner while also having a big arm. He's got a clean motion, and he wasn't asked to do a lot at Michigan, but proponents of JJ McCarthy will say that, well, that doesn't mean he can't do a lot. It's just the system that he was running, and certainly he's going into a really high level passing situation with maybe the best receiver in the entire NFL in Justin Jefferson, who has made what I think is the greatest catch in the history of the league, even better than Odell Beckham's. I mean, he had a couple guys on him. OBJ's was cake. He was uncovered, not actually, but I think JJ McCarthy is someone who, reminds me a little bit of Josh Allen, where you're not wowed by what he did in college on the field. You're wowed by what he can do, what could be. And if you put him in the right situation, he can thrive. And I think the Vikings are a great quarterback situation to go to.
And don't forget, there was a Michigan QB who, he didn't show a lot in college, but we know he showed a whole heck of a lot in the NFL.
He did a few of those Super Bowls.
Right, just a few rings for
just a couple
of the 2024 NFL Draft. Subscribe to Locked On NFL on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.